لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم عبد الله ورسوله ما بعد. We thank the Almighty Allah for giving us an opportunity to be here today. We thank Him for His mercies that He's bestowed upon us. We bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except the Almighty Allah. We also bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam is His servant and His messenger. Whosoever the Almighty Allah guides is really guided, and whoever goes astray has nobody to blame but themselves. Today is Saturday, the 13th day of Shawwal, 1400, which corresponds with the 14th day of May 2022. Alhamdulillah, it is an honor and a privilege to be here today. And I believe this is the second time I'm coming to University of Education Winneba Jimsa program. The last time, I believe it was a general meeting at the other hall. And today it's a sisters program. I'll be very, very honored if I can see pens and papers for you to write down some information. I don't believe you have computers that you can memorize everything I'm going to say. Even though I can see some of you holding their phones to record, that's also okay. But then when you write, it sticks better. So no problem. Hopefully next time when you're doing your makeups, remember to also carry your books and pens along. And makeups is always a sister's thing. So no problem. We are going to speak about the concept of leadership, female leadership in Islam. This is something that has, gathered controversy across the world from time immemorial, and it is stemmed from the idea that the Muslim woman is nobody. The idea is that Islam oppresses women and Islam doesn't give women their due. So anytime there is a narrative concerning Islam, and especially concerning Muslim women, it's always on the offensive. And the Muslim is always on the defensive on that. But then as a Muslim, we must understand that we have our own way of thinking and our own way of doing things. And someone else's ideology shouldn't be the yardstick for measuring us or for, judging us. I want us to just look at the topic itself and see what we can pick from it. So the concept of female leadership. We need to understand who a female is. When we understand who a female is, we will be able to really understand what is her role in leadership. Men and women are different. We are not the same. We are not the same psychologically. We are not the same physiologically. We are not the same emotionally. A man is different from a woman. A woman is emotional and a man is logical. A woman will always tell you what she's feeling, but she won't tell you what she's thinking. So when a woman tells you, get out, I don't love you, she's lying. Don't leave. That is how she's feeling at that time. So that is why when she sacks you, get out, and then you leave, she starts crying. I told him to leave, and then he has left too. But the man is logical. So when a man tells a woman, you woman, you are stupid. No, that's not how he feels about you. That's what he analyzed and calculated. And then he realized that at that present time, he seemed to be acting. A woman has emotional experience with words. A man has a logical experience with words. When you tell a man he is stupid, all he hears is information. I'm not stupid, so what? He forgets about it. But then when you tell a woman she's stupid, she feels stupid. She has that emotional relationship with the word, and she will never ever forget it. Even if afterwards you give her $100 billion, that description that you've given about her, that she's stupid, it's in her hard drive. That is why men, do we have even men here? That is why men, be careful of what you say to women. So when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that women naqisat al-aql wa deen, that women have a deficiency in thinking and the deen, it doesn't mean that women do not think. Psychosocial scientists like Professor Nail of the Knox School of Business tells us that psychiatrists or psychologists have discovered that a woman is 70% emotional and 30% cognitive, whereas a man is 70% logical and 30% emotional. So it buttresses the point where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that women always put their emotions first. So he will hurt her, he will abuse her, but she still clings on because she has that emotional attachment with him. The day that emotional attachment dissolves away from her eyes, realize she's a whole different person. In this lecture, we'll try to look at the power and the purpose of a woman. And this is one of the challenges that the 21st century woman is facing. Who is she? What is her identity? What is her power? And what is her purpose? I think when you push this aside, it will help you in your recordings, right? Yes, I know. I know. Or maybe Jenny, you can come and sit down. There's no need. Or you take this aside so that the sisters on the other side too can see it is a decoration, but I think the decorators. What is the assignment and the nature of the female? When we understand her assignment and her nature, we'll really understand her purpose in life. It is very, very difficult to be a female now. It's very, very tough to be a female. And I'm not saying this to flatter you, because we live in a world that is designed for and by men. Our world is run on male power and male energy, whether we like it or not. Civilizations, past and present, dependent on male energy to survive. So the world is a patriarch world, whether we like it or not. And the woman and the female is being forced to align herself within this world that was built by men. This was emphasized maybe 60 years ago by the famous singer James Brown, who sang, "This is a man's world." And this captured the position of men in the world towards women. And even before that, historically, if you go to the Romans and the Greeks, they saw a woman as just a sexual object where they can use. Those of you who have watched the movie Spartacus, it's not only a fiction, but it is how the Romans lived. A woman was only a sexual object, and that's it. The Greeks on their path, with all their philosophers and their psychologists, the Platos and the Aristotles and the Socrates, when they sat down to discuss issues, they agreed unanimously that the woman was not a human being. And they are the ones today that their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren are telling us that they know what women's rights are. In the Indian subcontinent, together with the Arabs in their Jahiliyyah, whenever someone gave birth to a female, he was annoyed. He was furious. And the Quran captures this. وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ يَتَوَارَى مِنَ الْقَوْمِ مِنْ سُوءِ مَا بُشِّرَ بِهِ أَيُمْسِكُهُ عَلَى هُونٍ أَمْ يَدُسُّهُ فِي التُّرَابِ أَلَا سَاءَ مَا يَحْكُمُونَ. Surah Al-Nahl, I think verse 137 or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. If one of them is giving a glad tidings, look at the word that the Quran uses. If one of them is giving a glad tidings of a female child, Islam acknowledges that giving birth to a female is a glad tidings. It's a good news. To change the narrative within the Arabs at that time that when you give birth to a female, you've brought home a catastrophe. Islam sends the message that when you have a female child, it's good news. Surah Shura, the Almighty Allah says, لِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ يَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ إِنَاثًا وَيَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ الذُّكُورَ أو يزوجهم ذكرانا وإناثا ويجعل من يشاء عقيما إنه عليم قدير. The Almighty Allah says, the dominion of the heaven and the earth belongs to the Almighty Allah. يخلق ما يشاء. He creates whatever He wants, or He creates however He wants. يهب لمن يشاء إناثا. He says He gives to whoever He wants daughters. To change that narrative, the Almighty Allah brought daughters first for the Meccan community, or for the Arab community, and for the whole world at large to realize that having daughters is not a catastrophic thing to be done. So وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. Realize that the person's face changes all of a sudden, and then he's full of anger and full of distress. يَتَوَارَى مِنَ الْقَوْمِ. He dodges the community. He doesn't want the community to see him because it was a stigma. Look at him. He gave birth to a daughter. And then he forgot that he was given birth to by a female too. So the Arabs have this culture of female infanticide. They buried their daughters alive because they felt that a man like me, pa, I should give birth to a woman. You, pa, do you have two heads? You have only one head like everybody else. So historically, the woman faced these challenges. If you come to our beloved Africa, it's a whole different story. You find the African woman, she's coming from the farm with her husband. He is in front with only his gun on his shoulder, and then he's whistling. She is carrying a baby behind her back. She is pregnant with another one. She is holding the hands of another one, and she's carrying firewood on her head. And he, the man, is in front with his gun, and then he's whistling. Hurry up. But then when we move fast forward now to the 21st century, the 21st century woman, whether she's a Muslim or a non-Muslim, is faced with some challenges. And the challenges is that there are expectations on the 21st century woman for her to be everything for everybody at the same time. We expect her to be a wife. We expect her to be a mother. We expect her to be a career woman. We expect her to be an alarm clock. We expect her to be a washer. We expect her to do everything at the same time. It's very, very challenging to be a woman now. 60, 70 years ago, it was very easy. You stay home, you take care of the kids, you take care of the house. The man goes out, he fights for the house, he looks for everything. But now, some ideologies have been pushed into our heads that the woman must be empowered, she must be free, she must be independent, and then she must be strong. All these words are scam. These words changed who the woman is, and then it turned her into a man. And some cultures and some civilizations, because of the laziness of their men and because of the injustice of their men, because Islam has made it incumbent upon men to be the protectors and then the guards of women. And then that position for men, if you're listening to me, that position is not a position of privilege, it is a responsibility. So when Almighty Allah says in Surah An-Nisa, verse 34, Ar-rijalu qawwamuna ala nisa, that men are the protectors or the guardians of women, it is not a position of privilege, it is a position of responsibility. And then it is not because the woman is weak and she can't do anything. No, it is because she is a queen, and a queen needs someone to always be at her service and tend to her needs. And this is what Islam has given to the woman. And the other cultures and civilizations are so jealous about it that they can't provide that for their wives and their daughters and their sisters and their mothers. So they're taking that away from you, the Muslim woman, and then you are clapping for them. When you are a daughter, your father takes care of you. When you are a wife, your husband takes care of you. When you are a mother, your children takes care of you. These are the positions that the Almighty Allah gave a woman. And the Western world understands that this is the power and this is the secret of the success of the Muslim Ummah, where the woman has a role to play and the man has a role to play. When we confuse the roles and give the roles of men to women and the roles of women to men, it brings catastrophic results to the community. And this is what the world is facing. We'll talk about that. And because of this has made the woman to be confused about her purpose and her notion in life. Because at a young age, she's a teenager, her family sends her out to go and fend for herself. She either becomes a kayo or she has to go and find ways to take care of herself. And the problem has entered our Muslim communities to the extent that if a young girl, a teenager is in the community, her mother asks her, what is expected of her is she should go and bring something. You have not given her a trade. You have not taught her anything, but you expect her to bring money home. It has got to an extent whereby I know fathers who steal money from their daughters. She comes from a hustling. She has money in her handbag. In the previous days, she has money tied around her wrapper. She has hung the wrapper. She's going to bath. By the time she comes back, IRS have taken their e-levy from her money. And she knows who has taken the money, but she can't complain. It goes to an extent whereby fathers are telling their daughters, from Mimuna, Kinga Shekarin and Akaribir and 50 Ghana, Wurikiko, Tokide Ishi 70 Ghana, Duka Shetashinawa, 120, and what Mutuna Biaki. So the expectation on the Muslim woman or the woman in general in the world now is very, very strange. It's very, very difficult because we expect you to be a career woman, go to work, leave home around 5 a.m., get to the office around 7 a.m., deal with office work, close at 5, go to school and go and pick the kids, come home around 7:30 p.m., cook dinner, wash, prepare, sleep around 11 a.m. and then we expect you to wake up around 4 a.m. again and go through that cycle. And we, the men, have crossed our legs and then we are flipping from one TV channel to another TV channel and then whistling. You understand the deception now? This is how we have been deceived by this empowerment thing, by this strength thing, that a woman must be independent. All of us can never be independent. Nobody is independent. We need each other. And this idea of empowerment and strengthenment, it is not that I am against women empowerment or strength. No, we must do it the right way. Because if you tell a woman that she should appear at work around 8 a.m., the same way a husband will appear at the job at 8 a.m., and this woman has children that she will prepare them for school in the morning, and then she will take them to school, and then she closes from work, and then she has to take those kids again from school, and then she comes home to come and cook and prepare the family, and then you expect her to do all these things, and then tell her you are empowering her, you are deceiving her. Because the woman has been cheated in this way, and because the woman has been made to feel that the man has been given that superiority over her in the community, the woman has ways which she is reacting. This has made some women to act like men. If he can drive a tractor, I can drive a tractor. If he can wear trousers, I can wear trousers. If he can jump, I can jump. If he can go to the Olympic Games, I can also go to the Olympic Games. The motivation is wrong. You must stop pushing to be like the man, because you are not the man. The fact that the world civilization was built on the power and the strength of the man doesn't mean that you are a less figure as compared to the man because of the successes of the man or because of the achievements of the man. This has made some women to attempt to be like men. You need to discover yourself as a woman. When you discover yourself as a woman, you will never even ever want to feel like a man or be a man. Some women are reacting this way. Some women have become so masculine that I'm even afraid to sit next to them. They've lost the feminine side of their lives. Who are they? Some women, because of this, have gone to the extreme that they don't need men. Wallahi, if you don't need a man, wallahi, you won't get one. Yes, some of you are acting like that. So stop reacting like that. That is why you have some women, because of the bad experiences that they have with men, it makes them toxic. And then they have all this, they paint all men the same. All men are goats, and I say including your father. The fact that you have that bitter experience with a man doesn't mean all men are like that. And then don't have that antagonistic approach towards men that all men are like this. No, don't worry. Almighty Allah will bring the right man on your way. So this is just something to do about who a female is. And some points I want you to note now about being a female and the unique essence of a female and who a female is. Forget about who a man is and what he has achieved and what he is doing. If you compete with someone, you agree that the person is better than you. And you know very well the numerous hadiths from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he placed a woman on a higher pedestal than men. The fact that in some instances in the inheritance structure of Islam, men, inherit double of what women inherit, that is only one out of the numerous scenarios where women inherit more than men. So you need to understand who you are. You need to know what Islam is. It's very, very important. So this is about female leadership. What is leadership? Leadership begins with you. Leadership is not about people. If you need people to acknowledge that you are a leader, then you are a politician. You are not a leader. That is why the politician always looks for votes. He needs people to address him or confirm that he is a leader. I want you to put these notes now. Everyone was created to lead. Everyone was created to lead. I can see some people are having some problems with this statement. Everyone is created to lead. I understand that. I understand that. Because I know something is going on in your mind now. You are having a challenge that if everyone becomes a leader, then who is going to follow, right? Yes, I understand that. If everyone becomes a leader, who is going to follow? This is proof that your culture has successfully convinced you that there are special people who are supposed to be leaders and the rest of us must all follow. That's what your culture has done to you. You can't fathom in your mind that everybody is a leader. You're having trouble with that. Everyone is a leader. If everyone is a leader, then who is going to follow? Trapped in every follower is a leader. Trapped in every follower is a leader. Leadership starts from your mind and your mentality and your understanding. That is where leadership starts. If you understand who you are and you understand your purpose, and then you understand that you have something to do, you become different. You see, my mindset is that there is no e-levy. That's the way I think. But there's e-levy going on. Some of you have been charged. Someone paid 50 Ghana CD and then they took the 1.5. After it has been said that it is 100 Ghana CDs. But that's the way I think. The way you think makes you who you are. So if you have superiority thinking about yourself, it gives you that leverage. If you have an inferior thinking about yourself, that is how you're going to end up. Your mindset and your thinking determines who you are. Who is the king of the jungle? Who can tell me? The king of the jungle. The lion is the king of the jungle. But then, is the lion the smartest animal in the jungle? Is it the fastest animal in the jungle? Is it the biggest animal in the jungle? It is the tallest animal in the jungle. But then why is it the leader? Tell your neighbor there is hope for you. The lion cancels all your excuses for not being a leader. I'm not tall. I'm not fat. I'm not fast. I'm not smart. I'm not good. The lion cancels all of that. The lion is the leader or the king of the jungle because of his mindset and his attitude. No matter how big the elephant is, when the lion sees the elephant, it sees lunch, and that's it. Yes. No matter how tall and powerful the hippopotamus is, when he meets the lion, he runs away because the lion sees him as lunch. And the lion doesn't only see the hippopotamus as a lunch, he acts like that, and then he goes on further to make him a meal. Your mindset. It helps. All of us were created and designed to dominate. All of us. Whether you're a male or a female, whether you are a Muslim or not, all of us, every human being was created and designed to dominate. I want us, if it is ready, I want us to look at something on the screen. Give me the parts of the car. This is a car, right? Maybe you can. This is a car. Yeah. Some of them said a car has 40,000 parts. 40,000 parts. But the question here is, what is the most important part of the car? Who can tell us? The engine is the most important part of the car. What is the most important part of the engine? I know you are not mechanics. Someone said the brake because he doesn't want to die. The most important part of the engine is the battery. Can we see the battery? This is a battery. Do you know why? Because without the battery, the car won't start. It will be only a bongo standing there. Is the battery the most important part of the engine? I don't think so. Do you know the spark plug? Let's see the spark plug. This is the spark plug. Without the spark plug, the battery will not be able to start the car, because this spark plug is what generates the fire for the engine. The battery has all the power. The spark plug doesn't have any power. It has only the ignition. It ignites. There is what we call the terminal clip. This comes with a wire, and this is placed on top of the battery. This terminal clip with a wire might cost 10 cedis or 15 cedis. The spark plug, a set costs about 200 Ghana cedi. You need 4, depending on the car that you're using. So one, maybe 50 Ghana cedi. The battery might be between 700 Ghana cedi to 1,000 Ghana cedis, depending on the battery. What I'm trying to tell you is this: the battery has the power. The spark plug has the ignition to ignite. The terminal clip, what it does is that it just transfers the power of the battery to the spark plug. It only does a function of what? Transfer. But without the terminal clip, the battery is useless. If you take the terminal clip off the battery, you can even recite Kulu allow 2 million. The battery, the car will not start. So who is the leader here? Who is the leader here? Who is the leader? The spark plug. Without the battery, the spark plug doesn't have anything to do. Because if the battery is not there, the spark plug doesn't have the power to ignite itself. The answer is no one and everyone. Each and every one of them is a leader in their area of function. This is the concept of leadership in Islam. Each and every one of us is a leader in our area of function. Who is the most important person in a company? Is it the CEO or the security officer? Without the security officer, all the computers and all the desks will be stolen. Without the CEO, the concept and the ideologies of the company will not be run. The concept of leadership in Islam between the male and the female is that of tawazun and complement. If you remember at the beginning of the lecture, we spoke about the differences between the male and the female. And because of the differences that we have in our anatomy and in our psychology, the Almighty Allah gives us what responsibilities and the duties according to our capabilities and our abilities. For example, with all due respect, you sisters have monthly visitor. We men, we don't have monthly visitors. And because of the monthly visitor, there are rules governing that in your ibadah, right or wrong? Right. So because of that, the expectations of the Almighty Allah upon us all is different. It's not the same. You are who you are because of what you are and how you are. And the moment you look at what someone else is, then you have a problem. The problem is that we don't know our purpose. And because we don't know our purpose, that is why we are running after everything. Who has seen a video cassette recorder before? Video deck. Who has used a video deck? You have used one. Because at the time where video decks were around, some of us, I won't say you, some of us were still babies. When you buy a video cassette recorder, a video deck in the olden days with the video cassette, where sometimes our mothers, we've seen some things. Some women, I remember when we were kids, their husbands do not have TV, they don't have a video deck, but she has a video cassette. And the video cassette is in her armpit. Then she'll move from home to home, looking for someone's deck and someone's TV to watch. You find our mothers who cannot speak Indian language, but they understand it. This generation, you are so dumb and daft that they have to transcribe these Indian telenovelas into Twi for you to understand. Our mothers went straight to the original source. Yes, they watched it and then they will tell you what is going on. Yes. They tell you what is going on. She can't speak the language, but then she'll give you the storyline. But you are now educated and you've gone to school, they need to translate it into Chi for you to understand. Oh, shame on you. When you buy that CD, that VCR, video recorder, when you open the box, what do you see first? You don't see the machine itself. You see a book. And the book is called a manual. And the manufacturer writes on the manual, before operating this machine, read the manual. When you go and buy a phone, if it is not circle, if you bought it in the case, you open it, you get what? A manual. And the manufacturer says, before operating this machine, read the manual in full. Please, who has read the manual in full? Don't lie. You've never read it before. When you don't read the manual, you abuse the product. Because you will not know everything that the manufacturer has put in that product. So when you buy a machine and then you don't read the manual, you abuse the machine. You will not be able to use the machine to its full potential that the manufacturer wants you. It is the same way that when the Almighty Allah created us, He gave us a manual. And because we don't read the manual, we abuse this machine that the Almighty Allah created. A phone will not go to another phone to consult the phone concerning the problem that the phone is facing. When your phone has a problem, you go to the expert for the expert to diagnose what the phone is facing, the problem the phone is facing. The problem of the day is that we go to unauthorized dealers for them to service Almighty Allah's machine. That is why we have deviant ideologies running around in our communities. That is why we are all confused, both the men and the women. We don't know what we are doing. We don't know what we are about because we've left behind the manual that the Almighty Allah presented for us, which is the Quran. So if you want to understand the purpose of a woman or your purpose, let's turn to the manufacturer's manual. And the manufacturer's manual, Article 2, subsection 30, which means Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 30. Almighty Allah says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. The Almighty Allah tells the angels, I am going to place on the surface of the earth a vicegerent, a manager, a chief executive officer. And that vicegerent and that chief executive officer is who the Almighty Allah wants you to be on the surface of the earth. Coupled with وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. They complement each other. In another verse in Surah Al-Sad, chapter verse 71, the Almighty Allah says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي خَالِقٌ بَشَرًا مِّن طِينٍ. That I am going to create a human being from clay. A human being. And the word bashar in the Quran is used for both males and females. Bashar is not only for males, it's for both males and females. So when the Almighty Allah was creating, He told the angels, I'm creating a human being. But then He created Adam first. Because He has a responsibility for Adam. That is why He told Adam in Surah Taha, إِنَّ لَكَ أَلَّا تَجُوعَ فِيهَا وَلَا تَعْرَى وَأَنَّكَ لَا تَظْمَأُ وَلَا تَضْحَى. He said, Adam, be very careful. You and your wife, be very careful about shaitan. فَلَا يُخْرِجَنَّكُمَا مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ فَتَشْقَى. Be very careful about shaitan, that he doesn't cause you to be expelled out of Jannah. If he expels the two of you out of Jannah, فَتَشْقَى, only you, Adam, you will suffer. Let me repeat. The Almighty Allah tells Adam and Hawa in the Quran that be very careful about shaitan. If you're not careful about shaitan and then he causes you to leave Jannah, Adam, you are the only one who is going to suffer. Not you and Hawa. Only you, Adam. Because Adam has been given a responsibility. And the responsibility, the Almighty Allah tells him, إِنَّ لَكَ أَلَّا تَجُوعَ فِيهَا وَلَا تَعْرَى. Adam, you are not going to be hungry in Jannah. In Jannah, you are not going to go naked. In Jannah, you are not going to be thirsty. In Jannah, you are not going to be outside shelter. And these are the four needs of a man. When I say man here, all of us, it doesn't mean the male species. Generic man. Food, clothing, water, and shelter. And the Almighty Allah placed that on the shoulders of the man. That is the male. Hope you understand what I'm saying. When the Almighty Allah created man, mankind, He started with Adam. And then He gave Adam those responsibilities. And then He created from Adam his co-human being, his wife. And then He gave the two of them a warning, that this warning is going to the two of you, that be mindful shaitan doesn't drive you out of Jannah. If he drives you out of Jannah, you Hawa, you don't have any problem. You Adamu, you are the one who has the problem. You understand? You understand the nuance of the Quran. What it is telling us is that the responsibility of taking care of the community and the family at large depends on the man and not the woman. The woman is a queen. She needs to be served. She needs to be protected. She needs to be guarded. She doesn't have to suffer. She doesn't have to break sweat. She doesn't have to tire. That is why within Islamic jurisprudence, a wife can give zakat to her husband, but the husband cannot give zakat to his wife. Why? Because the livelihood of the wife is incumbent upon the husband, but the livelihood of the husband is not the business of the wife. So a wife can be a trillionaire and a husband can be a thousandaire, and he's okay. And she doesn't have any responsibility to pay any light bill or any water bill or do any grocery in the home. It is his responsibility. The wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was very rich. And then it was time for her to give zakat. And then he told her, oh, give me the zakat. And then she said, no, I won't give it to you. I'm going to ask the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she went and the Prophet said, yes, you can give zakat to him, but he can't give zakat to you because he must take care of you. Because in the principles of zakat, anybody whose livelihood is under you is not entitled to zakat because you must take care of the person. Now let's come to the controversy. Can she be an imam? The idea of imam in Islam goes beyond leading 5 daily prayers. The idea of being imam in Islam goes beyond leading 5 daily prayers. But because we've adulterated Islam, when we say liman, the only thing that comes to our mind is that old man with torn clothes, tired, and then in the masjid leading us prayer. That's it. There's the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Bukhari narrates this hadith where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, after he was giving the information concerning the daughter of Kisra, and then he said, "Lan yufliha qawmun wallaw amrahum imra'a." That any group of people who have made a woman their leader will never succeed. The scholars have differences of opinion concerning the understanding of this hadith, but they all agree that al-wilayatul uzma, the general leadership of the community, is the preserve of the man, not because it's a privilege, but because it's a responsibility. Because in Islam, the leader is the father of the community. He takes care of everybody. He doesn't sleep. If someone is hungry in the community, it is the responsibility of the leader to make sure all of us are satisfied. All of us have eaten. So those of you who are Sarkin Zango, the Sarkin Kabila Kaza, the Sarkin Kaza Kaza, and your people are sleeping in hunger and they don't pay their school fees, you have a statement to answer on the day of Qiyamah. Especially those of you with your big batakari. Allah ta'ala, nimba bani sarota na ay mutua. Waze mutu. I hope you understand. So the scholars, some of them said, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is only giving us a report of what is happening in Kisra or in Faris, but that he is not enacting a law. But the majority of the scholars are of the opinion that yes, it is a law, because in Islam the Imam leads war. He doesn't hide at home. This Russia-Ukraine one, Putin must also go to the war front. Yes. When America is invading any country, the president must go to war. So you find at the Battle of Badr, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the forefront of Badr. At the Battle of Uhud, his teeth was even knocked out. Islam doesn't want that trouble for you, the woman. Because no community in the history of the world has been wise enough to send a female-only regiment to war. Let me repeat. No community in the world, whether they are the Romans or the Persians or the Greeks, and then they were going to war and they decided, because of equality and empowerment, this war, no man is going. We are only going to send the women. Has it ever happened before? No, because your anatomy has not been created for that. It has not been created for that. And Islam is protecting you from This distress, no matter how gym a woman gyms, and no matter how iron pumping she pumps and lifts weights, in the heat of the battle, your anatomy cannot stand it. And then it is not an indictment, and then it is not a deficiency in the woman. No way. Because you are the ones who give birth to those warriors. They came out of you. So the fact that you're not supposed to go to war because of your anatomy, it doesn't mean that you are deficient. No. The scholars went on further to say the reason why the general leadership of the community is the preserve of the man is, apart from leading wars, he leads Salah. And in Salah, he's supposed to be in front of men. And then the mixture of the gender is not allowed in Islam. And with all due respect, let me make a comment here. Our anatomies are different. When the Almighty Allah was creating the man, he was in a hurry. So, we came out. But when he was creating the woman, he took his time. He took his time, took his paint and brush, and then he took out all the curves. No matter how masculine a woman is, she's soft. That is why in Islam, shaking the hands of the opposite sex and hugging them is not allowed. So long as your nervous system and your reproductive system is working, it is a no-go area. So in Islam, we don't have, oh, she's my sister in Islam. We don't have that. And the woman's body naturally is attractive to the man. This is how the Almighty Allah created us. That is why in social sciences, the scientists will tell you that the man is driven by sexual passion and the woman is driven by affection and care. That is why it is easy for a 16-year-old girl to clear the account of a 60-year-old man. Because the man is driven by sexual attraction. That is why the Almighty Allah says, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the men to lower their gaze. That is why the Prophet Muhammad told Sayyidina Ali, لَكَ الْأُولَى وَلَيْسَتْ لَكَ الثَّانِيَةِ لَا تَتَّبِعِ النَّظَرَةَ النَّظَرَةَ. Don't be looking at people's daughters. If you see her for the first time, that is by chance. Don't, some of us, the men, the first one, it takes like 10 minutes. I saw good chair, yes, I wouldn't share. When a woman is walking and then she's wearing tight-fitting clothes, her natural body will shake and bounce. That is why you can see two well-dressed gentlemen standing by the roadside discussing a multi-million-dollar project, and a girl comes passing by and then she shakes something and then they're confused. And they forget what they are discussing. That is how men we are. So excuse me, imagine imam, woman, and then she does rukui in front of the man, leladan. You forget that he's in salat. This is just by the way. And because Islam is very, very mindful about illicit sexual activities, Islam has put in place these codes of conduct for us. Because the man will have to go around to take care of the community. He has the energy and then he has that inherent ability to do that. But the woman has not been graced with that. I know my time is up. Don't worry. I'll wrap up very, very soon. So the woman has not been graced with that, and it is not a deficiency in her. I have a lot of hadith here to speak about. So they agree that when it comes to the general leadership of the community, it has been given to the men. But then the woman can be part of the legislative process and procedure of the community. You know the story of Khawla. in Surah Al-Mujadala, قَدْ سَمِعَ اللَّهُ. A woman was the reason why the Almighty Allah revealed that legislation. Because she came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, my husband has made a very, very tasteless statement that if he has any sexual relation with me, it's as if he has had it with his mother. And the Almighty Allah revealed that. So a woman can play a role in the legislative procedure to enact laws for the community. You know the story of Hudaybiyah and Salama, when the Sahaba were confused as to what to do when they said they are no longer going to have the Umrah, and the Prophet said, look at them, I've given them an order for them to shave their heads and then slaughter their animals. They are refusing. And Salama said, Ya Rasulullah, go and shave your hair and slaughter your animal. They will follow you. She gave a legislative what? And there are a lot of them. Now let's come. Can she be a minister? There's a difference of opinion here. Scholars like Imam Abu Hanifa and Ibn Jarir al-Tabari are the opinion that she can be a judge and a minister. She can even be a judge. But then the majority of the Jews are saying no. And it's difference of opinion. But there are some positions that a woman can be. There's the example of Shifa binti Abdullah. She was made the matron of the market of Medina. At a time whereby 90% of the people who buy and sell in Medina were men. But then Umar made her the matron of the market of Medina, and then he even gave her punitive powers where she was able to punish men. But some scholars are saying this is just one out of a million examples. She did an excellent job that he had to appoint another woman for the market of Makkah too. So how do we fuse all these things together? Which is, if a woman qualifies to be in a position where there is no way we need her there, then she must go. She must go. The second point is that if that role will not inhibit her original purpose for which the Almighty Allah created her, which is to nurture the next generation of the Muslim community, then she's allowed. Let me give you a food for thought. Maybe I'll end with it. You are in universities now, and you are having all forms of careers. And the Muslim community needs you to have this form of education. My mother is a Form 5 leaver in the late 70s to the 80s. She went to St. John's Grammar High School, senior high school. That time it was not senior high school, St. John's Grammar School. Imagine a Zongo girl in the late 70s who is a Form 5 leaver. She was the talk of the town. And all the big boys and the big men wanted to marry her. But then she settled for my father who has not been to class 1 before. It is not an indictment to him too. He had gone to the Arab Gulf to study. And he came back and they got married. And since they got married, she's been in the home for the past 40 years. A Form 5 leaver in the late 70s to the early 80s. And she produced people like me and my brother who is sitting here. There is an elder brother before him who is in Niger now studying masters in Islamic law. And then he has a degree in networking engineering. After him, there is another one who is a female who is a certified midwife. And then before this, there is another female who is a businesswoman in Togo. And then there is him. And then there is one after him too, who runs a pharmacy shop that belongs to the sister, the one who is a midwife. And then the last one is here. He is at Adisada College. It's not a takbir. I asked her, and I always ask her, why will a Form 5 leaver in the late 70s, the early 80s, who is the talk of the town, and she could have gone to sixth form, upper sixth, and lower sixth, and the university, and have a career, decided to abandon all of that and stay home to be a wife? She said, I realized something, that when a woman takes part in the life of her kids, they grow to be responsible kids. But when a mother is absent from the nurturing of her kids, the tendency for those kids to go wayward is high. So this sister of mine, who is a midwife, when she was studying, one of her matrons told her, my daughter, listen to me. I know you're a Muslim. Will you get married? She said, yes. She said, make sure you get married. When you start having kids, the first one, second one, resign from your position and stay home and take care of your kids. She said, Mom, why? She said, you see me, I'm your matron now. I have 4 to 5 kids. I've roamed across the world studying for degrees in UK and the USA. I never had a full week at home with my kids in my life. I always hand them over to the nanny. Now that they have grown, if they want to take a decision in their lives, they don't consult me, they consult the nanny. And I can't blame them because the nanny was there for them when they needed me. That is the dilemma of the woman. Someone will say, okay, Sheikh, after getting all these degrees, I'm going to stay home. It's going to be useless. I learned English language from my mother's tongue, and I learned my Islamic and Arabic from her too. You have an option here. The option is you either stay home and raise the next generation of responsible people for the community, or you spend the next 25 years of your life building someone else's company and empire with your sweat and with your energy. And when you are 60, they say you are okay. It's okay now. Go home and go and retire. When you retire and your kids are 30 years old, now you want them. Fati, zomi magana, na sorry, but the time. Because when Fati was 2 years old or 3 years old, she came back at the time. Kimbarta da abawan gida. So you find some elderly woman, wallahi yarin ba ta jin magana, wallahi in ba magana da abawa ta bai ta ba ta jin maganan kowa, because you didn't listen. So let me give a suggestion. If I have the power, married women or women in general who are career women will report at 10 a.m. and close at 2 p.m. When she reports at 10 a.m., it gives her the opportunity to prepare her kids or help her husband in the morning to prepare for him to go to his workplace or for the kids to go to school. Then she has enough time to get herself ready to go to her workplace. When she closes at 2 p.m., she is able to what? Get home early and prepare for the kids to come back home. And then she has that blend between her career and then her role as a mother and a wife in the house. But because some people always want to keep you under lock and key and always want to have the pleasure of seeing you women tire and get lost, they want you to report at 8 a.m., same as the men, and close at 5 p.m., same as the men. But then when you go back home, your role as the mother and the wife, nobody is going to substitute it for you. So you find out that some men are having some underground activities with their nannies and their house girls because you are not at home. And as I said earlier on, women, we are driven by sexual gratification. So my sisters, when we go back to the scenario of the battery and the spark plug and the terminal wire or the terminal clip, each and every one of us is a leader in the roles and the capacities we play. The fact that the man has been made the leader of the home in Islam is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. That is why in Islam, if a man is not doing his duties, the woman has the right to report him to the authorities for him to be rectified. Don't stay in an abusive marriage because kina the imani, it is wrong in Islam. Don't stay in an abusive marriage. Lie to lie. I mean, I can't have that in Nan's allowed. The Almighty Allah created you a queen. The Almighty Allah created you with a purpose. And there is no gift that anybody can give to any community that is more valuable, that is more worthy, that is more powerful than creating a human being in your womb and giving birth to that person and then nurturing the person to become someone beneficial to the community. This is what you do. And then people tell you are useless. And someone tells you that because you've not been given a position, you are useless. Let me tell you, we men, we need a crown and a throne to be leaders. But you women, you don't need that. You lead by influence. And then influential power is more powerful and more dangerous than crown power. Some of you think that Nana Akufo-Addo is the president of Ghana. He is not the president of Ghana. Auntie Rebecca is the president of Ghana. Whether you like it or not. Auntie Rebecca, she is the president of Ghana. His wife, she is the president of Ghana. I'm telling you. Because no matter what they discuss at cabinets, if he enters that room alone with her, and then she passes her hand on his motorway, and then tickles his ears, and then she tells him, Ado, the 11 sign. He will just take the phone and call, can you hurry up? 11 sign. That is how powerful you are. Look into history and see all those men who say they are powerful and then they were abusive. Who brought them down? One woman. You find men of God, whether they are Muslims or Christians, when they are preaching, you feel things going in you. 18-year-old girl, bring him down. Presidents, Bill Clinton, one woman brought him down. Because the Almighty gave you, your leadership is through your influence. We the men, we need to always shout, hey, come here, sit down, go here, come here. The woman, she will only look at you. And you will understand what is going on. Why do you want to throw away this for a seat that you won't enjoy. You don't need any crown. You don't need any throne. The gift that you give to the world, wallahi, is bigger than what we men give to the world. And I'm not saying this to flatter you. And neither am I saying this to make me a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I don't like the idea. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because what Islam has given you and the empowerment that Islam has given you, Simone de Beauvoir doesn't have it. Whether the first wave of feminism or second wave or third wave or fifth wave, you continue having waves. Because it doesn't have a standard. The first university in the history of humanity in Fez, Fatima al-Fihri, woman. Muslim women had the right to inheritance more than 1,200 years before British women had it. They had it in the 17th century, 18 something. Are these the ones who are going to guide you to tell you who you are or or what your purpose is in life? No. Aisha radiallahu anha had more than 200 students in the Sahaba. Yes. So when it comes to scholarship and authorship and intellectual ability, Islam, the only thing Islam says, it has given you a role. This is your role. Let the man be running around. Let him do that. Maintain your beauty, maintain your dignity, maintain your position in the home. When he comes home, he will start even telling you what went on in the office and what he had today and what is going on. Let me tell you something. Women, when you become so soft and nice to your husband, he becomes your slave. Me, I thought I was very strong. When I got married, I realized that, Duka Karieni. Because sometimes I'll be having a chat with my wife and I'll tell her some things and I'll remember that, you don't say this thing. That is how the Almighty Allah has made you. If you play this role of yours as mothers and wives and sisters in the community, wallahi, the men will also play their roles. You see, we men, we are full of ego. We are full of ego. That's who we are. We ride on high horses. The problem that we face in this 21st century as men is that the women are now working, they are also earning capital. So some men feel this. How can I be a man when you make money and I also make money? So he feels that way. So that is why some of you university girls, Muslim girls, I find it difficult to get men to marry you. That's the reason. And I'm not saying it's your fault. It is not your fault. We are not saying stop the education, continue the education. But the man, because of his ego, feels like, not the first degree. Allah tamin bukulongida. Yes. So he wants to get to his master's degree before. And you are also following him to the master's degree. And you are following him to the PhD. So men, take that out of your mind. That the more educated a woman is, the more disrespectful she is. It is wrong. The scenario of my parents is an example. It is wrong. Take that out of your mind. And you, the woman, too, the more educated you become, the more reasonable you should be. Because some of you, excuse me, not some of you, maybe some girl somewhere, she's living with her father and her mother and 12 other siblings all in the same single room. But when someone comes to marry her, wallahi in ba 3-bedroom house, but ni ba aure. Ke mayan, ke mayan. Ke mayan pa. Ke mayan pa no. And you men, be truthful to the girls. Naka ustaz, amakaye kariya. So finally, female leadership in Islam is a leadership of influence and not a positional leadership. Female leadership in Islam doesn't need a seat or a throne to thrive. A woman is always a leader from the day she was born to the day she will die. A man's leadership is when he has someone underneath him. And when the Almighty Allah said, Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa, as we said earlier on, it is a position of responsibility and not a position of privilege or power. That is why the qiwama doesn't change. The fact that the woman is wealthier than the man doesn't mean that from now onwards she's going to be giving the feeding money, she's going to be paying the bills. No. She can choose to help, she can choose to be of assistance, but her money is hers. She chooses to do with it whatever she wants. But as a wife, she discusses with her husband. And then he fronts her in investing the money. And if he steals her money, it is not allowed. But a woman can steal the money of her husband. It is allowed in Islam. Women and money. Hey! Women and money. I've been speaking for the past 1 hour and 20 minutes. You've not clapped and jumped. When it got to money, you are clapping and dancing. And it reminds me of a point that I've forgotten. Women are incubators. Incubators always receive. They don't give. And whatever you give a woman, she is very generous. She will multiply it and give you back. If you give a woman a sperm, she doesn't return it back. She multiplies it, give you a baby, give it to you back. If you give a woman money, she turns it into grocery, prepares a meal, and gives it back to you. If you give a woman one word, she multiplies it and gives you a sentence. If you give her a sentence, she multiplies it, gives you a paragraph. You give her a paragraph, she multiplies it, gives you a book. You know it's true. I'm not lying. That is why if you give a woman problem and trouble, she multiplies it and gives you hell. So naturally, you always receive. That's how women are. Men understand that. Continue giving it to them. Give it to them. Give it. Give it. Give it. That's all. Just give. 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 If you give, she will function for you. That is why a woman can dump her poor boyfriend and go and marry a rich man. And there is no problem. You can't give her. She has found someone who is giving her. All yours is to life continues. A woman always receives. That is why you women, you tell me whether I'm lying or not. On Monday, you can buy a new bag. On Tuesday, you can see another bag and buy it. On Wednesday, you can see another bag and buy it. On Thursday, you will see another bag and buy it. And the women, we don't understand. Didn't you buy one yesterday? And she'll tell you, that was yesterday. Today is different. That is how you women are. And Islam understands that. And the Almighty Allah made us men to protect and guard you. Finally, I went to a program, and there's a woman at the high table that we were all supposed to shake. I got to her and I didn't shake her hands. And she was offended. So in the program, she made them to call me aside, and then she said, "Why didn't you shake my hands? Everybody did so. When you got there, you didn't shake my hands." I said, "It's because you are a queen. And not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can touch a queen." And she was like, "Can you repeat that again?" I said, I said, "Madam, please, do you know Queen Elizabeth?" She said, "Yes, I know Queen Elizabeth." I said, is it just anybody who can just go to the Buckingham Palace and shake the hand of the Queen or touch her?" She said, "No, there are a special group of people." I said, "In Islam, all our women are queens, and it only takes special group of men to hold their hands." وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.